everybody and welcome back to Stacia Expert Mode. And in this episode, we set up our fusion reactor with 3 steam turbines, and in total we produce nearly over 2 million FE now. So, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so today we are going to be setting up our fusion reactor and a bunch of turbines to generate ourselves a ton of power, because either this next episode or the episode after that we're going to be doing RF Tools Dimensions. So, I've actually already recorded the intro to this video, but it turns out everything kind of broke. So what I actually did was I set up the auto crafting for the Botania setup, but it just wouldn't work properly. So I had to stop the recording and try and get it to work. But it's working now, and I've already gone ahead and crafted everything that we're going to now need, hopefully, to craft ourselves our entire fusion reactor. So I think the issue is I have this set up here, where I have a hopper hawk collecting all the runes that get crafted out of this runic altar. Teleport back out, I have this mana spreader hooked up to, I think, these 2 ender flames and this one with a mana pool just in case it needs some extra. I have these 2 pointing into the mana pool at the moment with a wither Anconite. They use nether stars to produce a ton of mana. So this thing's been powered, and basically how this works is as this crafts, it requests a craft, and let me just demonstrate it here. So if I look at rune, I want to craft myself a rune of envy. So it says I'm missing 1 tiny potato, which is actually kind of annoying. Can I craft myself a rune of fire? I can. So let's craft a rune of fire. So you can see all the items get dropped on, and this living rock gets dropped on. Because technically it's lower than the fan. The fan then pushes it out when it crafts, and then the hopper hawk picks it up. The reason why I have this fan here is because the hopper hawk was not picking up the items fast enough, and it was getting replaced back onto the runic altar. So when the fan is active, it pushes them off of it, so it definitely cannot be put back onto the runic altar and then gets picked up. And it's on a redstone delay, so it has a chance to actually push it off, and it won't be constantly on while the items are falling. Because if the items are falling before it hits the runic altar and blows off, well, the items don't craft. So that's the way I have this set up. It's pretty simple. Runic altar, comparator, redstone into a dispenser with a wand of the forest to actually right click this thing when it fully crafts. So what happens when it activates, it sends out a tiny redstone signal, but it's not enough to send out a full signal. But when it gets a full mana ready for the craft, it pulses a signal, which sends into this guy, right clicking it, crafts that, and then sends another redstone signal down this thing on a delay to activate the fan, and then activate the diamond crafter, which is pumping in each one of these runes as recipes. So yeah, that's the way I kind of have this set up, and it's pretty good. I think the reason why this thing actually wasn't picking up, sometimes it does pick up fast enough and sometimes it doesn't, is I had it directly pumping into an ender chest, which I have down here right now. I think at times the ender chest was completely full, so I had no room to put it in, so I'd have to wait until there was space to be able to pick it up. But I put the chest there, and it did pick it up 90% of the time, but sometimes it did leave it in behind, and it did get put back into the runic altar. So yeah, so this setup works pretty well. I just have the fan blowing it off, and yeah, works perfect. So because of that, I was able to make myself enough fusion reactor casing to be able to make myself an actual fusion reactor. So let's head home and teleport back over to our reactor here, and get this thing set up. And you might have saw, just as I was talking there, I have a hole in the ground here with an extra level here in case we want to access cables and stuff. But as you can see, there is a lot of nuclear waste barrels down there. Yeah, I set up a ton of them. Because this guy, we're probably going to be upgrading him now in the future to make more nuclear waste. I've got 5 rows here. Yeah, 5 rows, 64 long. And I don't even know, I didn't even count how many deep, but it's well over 1,000 barrels per row. Probably even more than that. But yeah, and some of these have nuclear waste in it, some of them don't. But there's so many barrels here, it doesn't really matter. So hopefully this thing is able to keep up with how much nuclear waste we're now producing. So let's get started by setting up our fusion reactor. I'm trying to figure out exactly where to put it, and I'm thinking I might actually put it down here instead of up there in that corner, because I probably want to put my turbines along here, and I want to generate my fuel around here. Now, we technically already have half the fuel made. We need to combine deuterium and tritium to make D-fuel, and then fill this hologram with D-fuel to activate the actual, what's it called? The actual fusion reactor. So I need to set up a system of making heavy water, which is a filter. So if we look up a filter upgrade, so filter upgrade from Mekanism, right here, you see require tin dust. Now, I have a recipe for tin dust, so let me just get a tin, and I'll just make myself, I don't know, like 62 stacks of it, why not? So, back to filter upgrade. Oh, I wasn't typing. So, filter upgrade, we can see, I don't know how many of these can be put inside of a thing. I think it's like a 1-to-1. So, if I just press A on that, just to bookmark it, just in case. Oh, I already have a bookmark. Okay. So, let's actually start by building this actual reactor, because then we can build around it and fill out all the spaces that we're going to now need. So, if we look up fusion, we're going to need ourselves a fusion reactor controller. We're going to need ourselves our 4 fusion reactor ports, and I'll show you what all 4 of them will be used now for a minute. I need fusion reactor frame and reactor glass. So I'm going to craft myself another 64 of this. So while I was crafting, let's get this started. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly the right frame size. So start in this corner, and I think it comes in like this, like a star shape. I could be wrong. I might need to re-look up the tutorial or the actual wiki, but I think it builds out like this. Yeah, hopefully this is correct. It looks correct so far. And then I think it comes up one more here, and then goes up 2, and then it comes in one like this. Let me just quickly look at the picture so I make sure I'm building this right. Okay, I think I was actually building it a little bit wrong, so let's restart this now. So I have the wiki open on my other screen so I can actually see. So it comes down 1, across 3, and then across 5, like this. Break this one. Don't need to put that there. So it goes across 5, and then across 3, and then 1. Okay? Then it comes up 1 here, then comes across like this, and just builds around like this. You kind of build another square on top of the star shape you built before. We will be changing out the front here into glass now in a minute, but we might as well just build the entire thing like this first. Let me up onto this thing. Then I need to build up 1 more row like this, and then I need to build it. Actually, I need to fill in the corners on this row here. I need to build up 1 more row like this again. And then I fill in the star shape again here. So kind of covering the entire top now. And because now we're going to be putting glass in here, I can actually remove the front of it here. Like that. And teleport back up on top. And finish filling in the top. Because hopefully I do have enough of everything. So reactor glass goes in. Nope, not there. So it's a complete square on the inside, which is correct. So there we go. So now I'm going to get myself my matrix laser focus. And I'm going to put this in the middle right here. So that's going to go there. So this is where you'll input the blast of power to actually jumpstart this thing. Now, it's technically not built yet because I need to add a controller on the top. So controller go there. As you can see, it's formed now, but it has no access ports. So now on this side right here is where the steam is going to go out. Yeah, I can fill in the fuel on the side right here because I can run the pipes over. So I'm going to put an import here and here. So this is going to be tritium and deuterium. And then over here is going to be output of steam. And on the back middle is going to be output of power. Now, I don't think I need to adjust any of these things. I think they just automatically work depending on what connections put on them. So need to start setting up our lasers now. So the way this thing actually gets jump started is you need to put a laser focus on it. So this guy now, I need to set this guy up to redstone pulse. So when he receives a button, he will send out a signal. So I need to actually set up a bunch of these laser focuses like this. Is this correct? I think the lasers go in the way, but should be pointed out this way. Why aren't you... Actually, this guy doesn't even have a side on him, which is weird. Let me just see if I can actually fix this. Because I need to have... Oh, okay, he pointed up the way. That makes more sense. Yeah, why do you keep pointing up the way? That's what I want to know. Do I have to be on the same level right here? Huh. You shouldn't be pointing up the way. Do I have to be underneath? Ah, okay, there we go. Now it's pointing the right direction. So now with that pointing the right direction, we break this one now, and I just need to keep pointing it in these directions. So Hopefully this gets placed correctly. Not down there though. Let me actually get out the rest of them. So if I look up laser, I can actually take out all of these laser amplifiers. I want at least 10 of them hooked onto this thing. So hopefully they all face the right way. Why do you keep facing that way? It's weird. I need them all facing this way. Okay, apparently I can actually move this one back for it. It doesn't matter how far. These things actually reach really, really far. I just need to face this guy the right way again. So hopefully doing this faces the right way. There we go. So now they're all facing the right way. And the only thing I need now is cable. Because now I have to hook lasers into them and actually get it set up to start charging. So if I look at cable and get out a bunch of it, and you can see these things are actually one block from the bottom. So if I just run a row of cable there and then grab myself a point. And before I actually hook on the point, I need to set this guy to redstone pulse. Okay, so this guy will not fire the laser and will slowly charge up until it has enough power. To actually jumpstart this thing, I'm going to need at least more than half of this thing full. At least like 3/4 of the way full. So at least up here. So this thing will slowly fill with power. You can see it holds 2 billion. I'm going to need at least 1.5 billion. So there's our point. Now we can put the point right here. Set the power to mains. And now we just need to get ourselves our lasers. So if we look up laser and grab 1 or 2 of them, we can put them on right here. And you can see it's now slowly filling this guy with power. I need to put on a laser on every one of these guys and get it completely charging up. There we go. Have all the lasers now pointing into this guy, and you can see he's filling up with power very, very quickly, actually. So now all I have to do is wait for it to fill up to nearly there, and we're good to go. So now this guy actually has to be accessed from the top, which is kind of annoying, but you can see it's now formed, and we have the option to see all these different stats. So plasma is how hot the inside plasma is, which is what's going to be causing the reaction. In here is the casing heat, and the higher the casing heat, the more fuel it will burn, and how much water it'll require. Now, the thing I believe about this reactor is that it does not explode. I believe if you have enough fuel to supply the input rate... Jesus Christ! Why do you have to appear at the worst times ever? Did you seriously... Ooh. Ooh. That's not a bad sword. Sure, give me that. That's actually quite a good sword. Now, I don't actually know. Is the mech suit actually the best option for us to wear? Because I was looking through the actual like armor and stuff, and I came across the crystallized obsidian, which is definitely way better than the current armor we are wearing. I don't know the stats about what a mech suit has. So if anyone knows how good a mech suit is, let me know, because if it's worth upgrading to, I will. How are you right now? Okay, we need to start hurrying this up. So we need to start producing the fuel now. And I'm going to put the fuel along here once these lasers are gone. But for now, we have this tank right here. This has tritium in it. And if I put this tank right here, I need to actually... Wait, move it back one. Because I need to pump this through a rotary deconcentrator. Why is this word so hard to say? So I'm going to put this right here. And we're going to say configure fluids to a gas. I think this is how it works. So let's turn off the items. And we need a gas. So gases are going to be outputting on the left. Fluids are going to be inputting on the right. Okay. So we have this guy right here. We're going to put them there and grab ourselves a pipe. Okay, sorry, you need to go. There we go. So if we put this here, set it up, this will be turning tritium into a gas again. I need to give it power now, so I need some cable. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, we have this whole space underneath here. We could set up the fuel production to be made under here and then pipe it straight up. That could work. So I'll break these. Let me break this again and move it down. So tritium is going to be put in through here. So if we put this guy there, they're facing up the way, and set this pipe system back up again. Now we grab some cable and a point. So if we break this and run our cable now underneath. So we also need to send this into a chemical infuser, because the chemical infuser is what's going to make ourselves the defuel to make our hologram. So I'm going to put the chemical infuser back here for right now. And then I'm going to get myself my gas pipe. I'm going to use pressurized pipe here because gas pipe is just going to keep disconnecting itself. So if I do this, oh yeah, I need to hook on my point now as well. Can I hook the point under like this? No. Okay, so let's just say mains power for now. You are turn, so tritium being produced and it's being pumped into here. I'll let this fill up completely. It doesn't really matter too much. Now, we need to set up a system extracting out water. So let me grab myself some cobblestone. And we're going to set up a big infinite water source right here. So I need it 6 long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then we're going to fill this in like this. And hopefully this works. So what I need to do now is grab myself electric pumps. And actually, let me move it one more out from the wall here. Okay. Now, let me grab myself my chalice. And I'm going to fill this thing up with water. So this will make an infinite water source, correct? Now, I'm going to grab myself universal cable. That's pressurized pipe. Give me back the cable. And I'm going to run it along the edge right here. Okay? So now, if I look at pump, I already made these pumps. I made 12 of these electric pumps. Okay? These pumps are what are going to be extracting out water and what are going to take the heavy filter upgrade. So let me just run these across the edge right here because I'm going to have at least 12 of these. The more of these I have, the better. There we go. Now I'm going to grab myself a pipe, just regular mechanical pipe. And now I need to make myself my filter upgrades. Okay, they only stack in a stack of 1. So I'm going to need to make myself 12 of these now. So you get one, you get one. And I think they all have one now. So if none of these accept this one, then yep, they all have that upgrade now. So, you can see they all have water in it right now. So I actually need to pump that into a trash can. Because they all had a bit of power as I was had them in my inventory because of course, you know, inventory charging. So set these guys all up to extract out the water. Okay. All the water's getting pumped out of these guys now. They're all using up the water or the power they have to mine up the water. Water stopped. Pump it into this trash can. And now break the trash can. And now it's all filled with heavy water. Let's break this here. There we go. So now I'll have to add speed upgrades onto all these guys now as well, but I'll do that now in a second. So I need myself now an electrolytic separator. So you're going to go there, and I'm going to say items, none. Gases, we're going to output deuterium on the right here, and we're going to say fluids are going to input through the top. And we're going to dump the excess oxygen that this thing is going to now generate. Okay, so now we need to give this thing power. So this guy now needs to pump the heavy water into the top, like so. This will start separating heavy water into deuterium and oxygen. We're dumping the excess oxygen, and we're only exporting out the deuterium. Okay? Let's fill in all these holes now. Now we need to grab ourselves our pressurized pipe. And this should be filling with deuterium. And now we're going to combine it in here. This is going to start making us defuel. I need to give this thing power now as well. This is only a temporary thing. I won't need it much after this. This is just to get everything started. So you're getting power now. And now you're making us defuel. So if I put this in here, it's completely full. Now I can break this because I don't need it anymore. And I can break this cable. And now I can run the pressurized pipe up the way into this thing. So this thing is now being filled with deuterium. And now I need to do the same over here. Run the pressurized pipe up here. And have that filling with deuterium. Okay, we'll come back to filling these guys up with... Oh yeah, we need to give these things power now as well. I've completely forgot about that. Craft me another 64 this cable quickly. There we go. And now I need to run the power over now. There we go. So water is now being... these things are all being powered. They're filling this thing up with heavy water. And if we teleport back up here, we can now see that this guy is pretty much completely full now. So I can actually turn these lasers off. It's fine. And all I need to do now is... break all of the lasers. Break all of the cable. This guy sticks with the power. And now all I have to do is make sure it has everything ready to go. So that means putting the hologram inside. So, pick up the rest of this now. Teleport up on top. Put the thing in here. And now if we have a look at the stats here. We have no water in at the moment. But we will pump in water now in a second. Actually, let me pump the water in now. Let me grab myself a sink. And some pipe. Mechanical pipe with our configurator. And we put this back here. Wait. Oh, yeah. We need another port to pump in water. I forgot about that. Okay. Fusion, reactor, port, craft. There we go. I'm going to put this... Yeah, I'll put it back here too. Okay, so put this here. And this is where the water is going to be inputted in. So, hook these all on. And set them all up to extract. Like so. So if we teleport back up on top of this thing, we can now see that if we look at fuel, we have deuterium and tritium. Injection rate of 2. Let's put it to 3, just in case. Edit injection rate. Yeah, 3. Oh, I think maybe it can only be multiples of 2. I think that's actually something I remember doing before. If I put in 4. Yeah, okay, it has to be multiples of 2. So, look at heat. We have water. This will combine into steam. So we should probably set up something to start exporting out that steam. I'll use an ultimate trash can just for the minute. Just until we actually build our other ones. Just so this thing doesn't get clogged up and then overheat. So everything should be still okay. You're inputting. Right, all that's left to do now is just grab ourselves a button. Hopefully this connects on the side here. No, it doesn't. I think I need to put a dirt block and then this. And if everything is correct, this thing will start a reaction. There you go. So we have a look in here at stats, or heat. You can see we have 400 million degrees, I think. It's crazy. The water's being inputted in and steam is being produced. You can see we are currently producing quite a bit of power. So let's grab ourselves a plug. There we are. And now come back to the back. Put this on and set it to mains input. And disable limit. I think I actually need to set this guy up to extract power. There we go. So there we go. Now this guy is extracting our power. Let's teleport up top and have a look in here again so you can see the heat. Now, it has to stay above a certain heat. If it goes below the ignition temperature, it will stop working. So we need to keep it, as you can see here, the stats. Water cooled, ignition temperature, 99.99 million. Minimum injection rate of that should keep it at that level. So it says passive generation at 200,000 FE, and that's with just that. We have it currently set up to an injection rate of 4. Okay? And as long as these pipes... Okay, see, we're using more tritium than we currently have. And I think that's just down to this thing not having enough speed upgrades. Let me teleport back down here. And you can see the tank is completely full. So I need myself a bunch of speed upgrades now. Craft me 64 of them. But just set this guy up with these guys now. So you can see we're making more tritium now. And this guy seems to be okay for the time being. But if we have to, I'll set up another evaporation tower making lithium to generate more tritium here if I have to. And this guy is kind of at a stable point right now. But as you can see, it's completely full with heavy water. And this thing keeps filling up. But I need to add some speed upgrades onto that guy too. So while I'm at it, I'm going to add speed upgrades onto all of these guys now. Okay, I've added speed upgrades onto all of these guys right now, but it's converting the actual heavy water into deuterium so fast that, yeah, these pumps can't keep up. So if I have to, I can add more on. It's not a problem. Or if I wanted to, I could probably even create an entire dimension out of heavy water and just pump it if I wanted to. But yeah, so you can see this pipe is filling up now, more than it's actually currently burning. And I need to teleport back on top. I should probably make a ladder or something to access the thing. Well, if we look at the heat, it's still 400. It's still slowly dropping, as you can see. Which is perfectly fine. As long as the plasma stays above 99 million, we're perfectly fine. And since we are double the current injection rate, I doubt it's going to drop below it, as long as we can keep up with the fuel input. Yeah, as you can see, the pipes are still slowly filling. So I think we're actually okay. So before this episode ends, let's actually now go ahead. Oops, did not want to put a marble down. Let's go ahead and actually set up the rest of our turbines now, because I made myself like 500 turbine casing, and see how many of these things we can actually build now. Okay, I have 3 turbines built right now, but I may have ran into an issue with this thing. Wait, oh wait, no, it's still producing power because it still has a bit of heat in it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it turns out my tritium ran out. Mainly because the evaporation tower, every time I reload the world or teleport to it, it technically resets. And because of that, if I teleport home quickly, if I don't get stuck on the ground, please. Damn, it's really laggy coming back home. Probably because of the farm over there. But if we come over here, you can see I've changed out the pipe here from an easy pipe to a regular pipe from Mekanism. Every time this structure reconstructs, this thing will disconnect. So I had to come back here and turn it on every time. But of course, it didn't work like that. And you can see this thing's actually completely empty of tritium at the moment. And this guy is still going at max speed. So yeah, I definitely am going to have to set up more evaporation towers over at the reactor area and use that to start generating the tritium as well. Because it's just not keeping up. So I had to reset up back up the lasers to actually start generating enough power. It's nearly there. I'm going to wait till it's completely full before I turn this thing on again. But I definitely did increase the water input then too. So this thing is definitely able to keep up with the water now. And the only thing left to do now is grab a pressurized pipe and hook up all of the turbines. You know what? There probably has enough power in this thing, but I definitely want to wait till it gets a little bit higher. But yeah, so fuel, I've turned it back down to an injection rate of 2. Let me turn it back up to 4. Hopefully this is able to keep up now. So like the injection rate is, we're producing 600. No, that's not 600 million FE, is it? No, that can't be right. This thing says it's not outputting anything at the moment. No, I think it's glitching out and it's only producing like a couple FE a tick, but it's kind of just saying that it's producing 600 million, which is incorrect. So we'll just have to see. You can see it's filling up at like 1,000 or something like that. That's it. Okay, I'm going to give it a go with this and see if this works. So I'm going to disconnect this laser and I'm going to put a button on it and see if it works. If this works, it means everything's fine. Okay, yeah, so that worked. Perfect. Break the lasers and then break the cable and break the laser amplifiers. And you can see these guys are filling up with steam right now. I don't know how much steam, but we'll check that now in a second once I put all these lasers away. So these things are filled up with 500 million steam. It's all being dumped, so let's get rid of the trash can just to make sure. So you can see the steam is flying up right now. Jump up on top and have a look at our stats. So fuel is okay, and this thing is dropping. No, it's filling. It's okay, it's kind of dropping and then filling at a rate where it's not comfortable to have it at. So I'm going to have to definitely set up more evaporation towers like right here and then pump it down and yeah. But for now, this seems to be working. You can see the temperature is dropping, but it won't go any lower than 200,000 or 200 million. We're constantly filling with water, and this thing is filled up with steam. So I'm going to set it to dump excess just in case anything does happen. Say it doesn't get enough steam. But the higher the input rate I put on this thing, the hotter it gets, meaning the more power it will produce. So if we just have a look here, you can see this thing is outputting 700,000. And this one over here is outputting 350,000. Let's break this point. So if we were to have a look at this guy here and go look at the connections, you can see the point is outputting nearly 2 million. So we're nearly producing 2 million FE right now. And this thing isn't even at its highest peak yet. So with the amount that we're producing, oh, the number is dropping right now, probably because it is nighttime. So I need to actually set this thing up and start producing more of this tritium as soon as I can. Let me teleport home. And actually, you know what? Since we're producing that much tritium, or that much power, if I just grab myself a point and come over here and connect it to this guy right here, okay? Connect this guy right here, set it to mains power. This guy is going to constantly fill up, and let's set it to 1,000. So he's going to start producing a ton of heat. And the heat is going to start turning this water into that, which is going to in turn going to produce more tritium, hopefully. Brine is filling up really fast. I need to set up to this guy then too. Set this guy up to 1,000 then too. Liquid. Oh yeah, it won't turn in because it's daytime. I need to sleep. Now if we have a look, this guy is completely full and he's filling up fast. And now this guy should be filling back up with tritium. If I teleport back over to Reactor. Go check this guy now. Make sure he's still filling with tritium. Is the pipe going up? Yes, we're making more than we're using. Okay. I'm going to have to definitely add an internal buffer to this thing. Even though this pipe has a massive buffer, I definitely want to set up a massive farm for lithium to turn into tritium. And set up a ton of solar neutron activators. Like fill the entire center right here with them. And just set up like tons of evaporation towers along here. One evaporation tower is enough to turn the brine into lithium. But if I can set up a couple water to brine towers and then have it all pump out into a ton of solar neutron activators and then have a backup tank to store all this stuff in, I think will be grand. Because if we just go to fuel here and YOLO an injection rate of 10, you can see this steam is going to start flying up. This thing is using more than it's producing, but a very slow rate. So we'll turn it back down in a second. But if we have a look at the heat, you can see the heat is going up like crazy, using more water, filling this guy up with more steam. And if we come back over here now, you can see we're outputting maximum. So I need to disable the maximum. And yeah, go over and do the same over here now. But if we have a look at this now, at our connections, we're inputting 2.5 million. So if I get the other one set up right here, we should be producing, how much? Are we okay on this? Yeah, we're still making more deuterium than we are tritium. So I'm definitely going to have to make more evaporation towers, and I'll do that before next episode. So let me just turn this back down to like, I don't know, 6. Is that more than enough? Okay, yeah, we're making more than we're using. Okay, good. So I'm going to end it there. Hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Hope to see you on the next episode. So without further ado, goodbye.